everyone, it's Miss Jones and welcome to our art lesson. It's getting closer to the holidays, and a holiday tradition that most people have is sending holiday cards. So what we're going to do for our activity today is we're going to make our own kind of abstract holiday cards. So I'm going to show you how to do one design today, but you can always do a different design or do more if you really enjoy this project. So what you're going to need today is you're going to need a blank piece of paper. It should be a white piece of paper. You're also going to need a pencil. Along with the pencil, you will need a black marker, so like a Sharpie or just a regular black Crayola marker will work. You will also need something to color with, so colored pencils, crayons, markers. Today I'm going to use markers. I'll kind of show you those later. And then if you would like for this project, you may also want to have a ruler because we are going to draw some straight lines, but you can always freehand your lines if you don't have a ruler handy. Another thing you might want is a cup or something to trace for a circle. Again, you don't have to use these tools to draw shapes like lines and circles, but you can always draw them freehand. But if you feel more comfortable tracing something or following a guide like a ruler or cup, you might want to use one of those. After we finish our holiday card today, you may also want to maybe cut out your image and add it to a kind of thicker paper like a cardstock or construction paper. So if you want, you can have some of that ready. You may also need scissors and glue if you'd like to do that step, but again, you don't have to. Those are just suggestions if you want to make your card a little more structurally sound. So let's go ahead and get started with our design today. So first we want to make our paper into kind of a card shape because this is kind of a weird, awkward card size. So go ahead and take your paper and we're just going to fold it kind of like a book. And we want our fold to be on the left side. So on this side here, we want it to be, just because that's kind of usually how books open, right? Kind of like this. So this is kind of our card now. And we're actually going to draw on the front of our card. So we're going to draw here. So you want to actually keep it closed for today. But now after you finish, you can write a nice note in here to someone. You can also kind of like prop it up so that stays open like this, like on a desk or on a shelf. But we're going to be working and doing our picture on here. So when you want to do your design, I'm going to show you how to do kind of like a holiday festive tree for my design on my card, but there are lots of other options you can do. You could choose any type of holiday imagery you'd like. So maybe you want to do a wreath or a snowman. Maybe you want to do a reindeer or a gingerbread person, whatever you'd like. But I'm going to do a tree today. And you can kind of follow along if you'd like, maybe do one and see how we do it, and then go on to kind of your own design. So we're first going to draw our picture on our front here. So I'm going to draw my festive tree, and my tree is going to have kind of a nice star on top. So we're going to start out just with our pencil. Something like that. And then my tree, you can always just do kind of like a triangle type tree, but I'm gonna do kind of more like a silly kind of tree that kind of comes out like this and kind of goes out. Something like that. I might kind of end it there with a little stalk there. So this is kind of just a sketch. I might erase my pencil lines later after I go over it in pen, but That's pretty good, looks decent. I might actually move my star a little bit more in the middle. I'm realizing it's not quite in the middle. But that's the nice thing about pencil is you can always kind of erase and try again. We're gonna cover most of this up with marker anyway, so all those pencil marks, you won't really be able to see it. There we go. A little bit better there. So I kind of have my festive tree, so you can kind of do your tree however you'd like, but that's how I'm doing mine here. And once we have our design, I'm gonna go ahead and use my black marker to outline my lines. There we go, so I got my outline of my tree done here. And if I have a lot of extra pencil marks, maybe I'll erase those using an eraser. I kind of followed my lines, but I kind of changed the shape of my tree a little bit. So now what I'm gonna do is we're gonna add kind of our abstract element to our tree here, because this is a really awesome design, but we wanna make it a little bit more visually interesting. So I'm gonna add a couple big shapes, like a circle, kind of around this area. So like I said, you can use your cup and use those to trace to make circles, or you can freehand, whatever you'd like. I might use my cup here. And we're just gonna do them a few places along my tree. It doesn't matter where, but I'm gonna do maybe like 3 circles here. Something like that. So they're kind of like bubbles, kind of on your tree. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to now trace those circles with my black pen. All right, so we kind of have these cool circles here, kind of gives it a little bit more interest, but we're not even done yet. So now we're going to take our ruler and our pencil, and we're actually going to kind of just draw a bunch of lines on our page, kind of going every which way direction. So I would draw maybe like a couple lines going up and down, a couple lines going crisscross. We want to kind of cut through our page in different ways. They can kind of be random pieces here. I might do one more kind of through that way. So that kind of cuts up our piece. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I did about 6 lines, which I think is pretty good. And now what we're gonna do is we're going to also go ahead and go over those lines with our black pen. So you might wanna use your ruler again. There we go. So we kind of have this Christmas tree now, or holiday tree, excuse me, with kind of all this lines kind of crisscrossing about. So there's our design, which it looks kind of cool, looks kind of abstract, maybe a little retro. I love it. So now we get to go to the fun part, which is coloring. So like I said, you can use markers, colored pencils, crayons, whatever you'd like. I'm going to use markers today, and I'll explain to you kind of the colors I decided to use. So there's not really a right or wrong way for you to do this, but I'm going to make my tree kind of one color. Maybe I'll use browns too, because I want it to be green, but I want each of these sections here to kind of be a different colored green. So I went and found all these different types of markers I could. If you want to mix between markers, crayons, and colored pencils because you have more colors that way, you can do that. But I'm kind of picking shades of just green for my tree to kind of make it all look like one shape, but to kind of give it a little bit of a different feel to it. And I'm gonna do the same thing with my background, where I'm going to only use kind of reds, pinks, maybe some purples as my background to kind of give it a little bit of interest, but also make it look like you know what is the background and what is the tree. So I'll kind of show you how I'm gonna do that, but you can always do it differently if you'd like. If you want your tree to be rainbow, if you want your background to be rainbow, or you want it to be a few different colors, that's totally fine. Kind of however you want to do it. But I'm gonna start, and I'll kind of, as I go, you can kind of see my process and kind of how I'm doing this. So now I'm gonna move on to my background, and like I said, if you want to do your background differently, like maybe you want to do it a bunch of different colors, I'm gonna try and stick to like reds and pinks kind of as my background, and we'll kind of, oh, that one doesn't work, because I want to kind of create kind of this red-green kind of look, but I don't have a lot of reds, so I'm gonna add pink in with it. Card. So I finished coloring kind of all my areas here. So now I've got this wonderful card I can write in. Kind of a cool, fun design. Like I said, you can do this with a lot of other shapes or images. So like I have done a few more with like a snowman. I did one with a reindeer. I added stars instead of circles. I did a wreath that I kind of did half marker, half colored pencil. So those are other examples of things you can do, and kind of with this fun design of shapes and lines kind of crisscrossing each other and kind of this coloring pattern. But yeah, so if you want, like I said, you can always cut it out and kind of like paste it on a different piece of paper and then kind of fold that so that you have kind of a stronger piece of paper. So you can kind of cut this image out. You might have to cut it down a little bit and then paste it onto kind of cardstock or construction paper if you want to have kind of like a nice border of plain color around it. But that is not necessarily needed. It'll usually stand up okay on its own. It might be a little flimsy on the corners, but should stand up okay on a counter or shelf. You can also put these on a refrigerator, but they look kind of fun, and I like that I created a bunch of them. It kind of is like a nice set. So hopefully you enjoyed this activity and kind of like this abstract style, kind of bring something more festive into your home today. So thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll be excited to see all of your beautiful holiday cards. Have a great holiday. Bye.